Hello again, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome back to Magical Diary Wolf Hall. We are continuing on where we left off. What happened? As of right now, I can't remember. A lot of time has passed between this time of recording and when I finished last recording. So I remember we joined a secret society. I still feel weird about staying in bed past noon when I'm so used to getting an earlier start. So lunch. But first, I had better drop by the gym and see if there's anything that the student council needs to do as far as cleanup goes. Oh, I believe we had the dark dance the other day. No one asked me to go there, but somehow I'm not surprised to find Minnie in the gym with a dustpan and brush. The room has largely returned to normal, but the autumn leaves that were dragged in to cover the floor left bits everywhere. Minnie is trying to sweep the floor clean, but she's struggling with her coordination, trying to manage both brush and pan at the same time. Let me help you with that. Charles? Hi. Oh, Minnie, you've been working yourself to the bone, girl. She straightens up to smile at me and then wobbles on her feet. Are you alright? I'm just a bit tired. When did she wake up? How long has she been here working? How much sleep did she get? I can't sleep, I'm not done yet. You haven't been to bed at all? How is she even still standing? She was casting spells all night. I'm almost done. She yawns and I see tears leak down her face, but she doesn't look sad at all, only exhausted. Look, you can barely hold the pan. You're making yourself sick. Nothing in here is urgent. There's no classes today, and there's plenty of time for cleanup. She drops the cleaning supplies and presses her hands to her head. Can you please stop talking? It buzzes. It's making me dizzy. She clearly needs to be in her bed before she does herself harm. I should probably walk her to her room to be on the safe side. Of course that means I might run into her roommate Pastel. Come on, I'm taking you back to your room. I can clean this up later. You need to sleep. She looks at me and I'm afraid she's going to start crying for real. But then with a sigh she surrenders. Luckily she's still able to walk on her own. I don't like to imagine what it would look like if I were dragging her through the halls. I do keep an eye on her in case she stumbles. When we reach her door in Butterfly Hall, I reach out to knock, then check myself. If it's her room, she should be able to unlock it on her own. Minnie fumbles with the doorknob but gets it open. Good. And maybe Pastel won't even be here. Ugh, no such luck. Minnie? She sighs. Shaking her head, she walks back into the room, paying no further attention to Minnie or me. Good night. She closes the door and, on cue, my stomach grumbles. I should go and get some food before I worry about finishing the cleaning. I pop into the cafeteria and grab a tray of food. It's pretty empty in here. The lack of scheduling for the day means that no one's in a rush to get on to other activities, so they can eat whenever they like. It also means that I have no idea what anyone else is doing for the day or what I want to do. I still need to pick out a poem to perform for tomorrow night. I did say that I would finish cleaning up the gym, although I expect someone else would take care of it if I don't. I could try to talk to Ellen about last night, and I still don't know what happened to Barbara at the dark dance. I could just hang out with Donald and Luke. I'm sure they'll be doing something fun. First, I need to finish my meal, but then I think, wow, oh my goodness, look at how many options we have. I don't believe we had this many options before. So we're gonna save here. We're gonna say, dark options. Yes, although none of them are dark except maybe Barbara. She's probably the darkest person here. I feel like I need to clean the gym. And I feel like this is an opportunity to continue on with Ellen's path. This is obviously Barbara and Luke. Read poetry. That might be a William thing, to be honest. Let's see. Clean the gym, I think, is what we would probably want to do. Which one do I feel like I want to do? Honestly, I feel like I want to do look for Ellen. But there's some part of my brain that's saying, clean the gym, clean the gym, clean the gym. I'm gonna clean the gym. I'm sorry, Ellen. I know what I'm basically doing is I'm basically saying later on in this Let's Play, in this walkthrough? No, this isn't even a walkthrough. In this, series, in Series 2 of Magical Diary Wolf Hall, by none other than Wynn himself and me. I'm basically saying, hey, you're going to have a tough time with Damien, and he's going to cause a bunch of chaos for you later down the line. And honestly, I feel guilty about that. Even though it's a cartoon character, a video game character, should I say, I still feel, you know? But anyway, that is, yeah. When I finally return to the gym, it is empty. Empty of people and also of trash. Even the brush and pan have disappeared. It looked like the clean-up job got finished while I was elsewhere. I hope Minnie didn't sneak back here while my back was turned. I guess I'll have to keep a closer eye on her from now on. Anyway, there's nothing for me to do here. I may as well go look for Donald and Luke. Really? There was nothing there. Kinda makes me want to go back and speak to Ellen, to be honest with you. You know what? Screw it. I peer around the cafeteria and I don't see any sign of Ellen. I do see her roommate at a table, but Virginia isn't the one I need to talk to. I'll have to look around the campus. After some fruitless wandering, I finally track Ellen down in the school library. As before, she's got a stack of books piled up in front of her. There aren't a lot of people in the library right now, so I'm not too worried about distracting people. I sit across from her and try to look friendly. Hi. Hi? What are you researching? Demons. Ooh. My stomach twists. It sounds like she's still got Damien on her mind. He must be only a half-demon if he's attending school here, right? Like Pastel. Her mother's a human witch. You mean Damien, right? Is demon the right label? There are many humanoid stocks. It's what Virginia calls him. She always knew. And she said that nobody knows who his family is. Nobody. Which would make sense if he were a wild seed like me, or from another country like you. But he's not, so it's weird, isn't it? A bit. I can't really say. I don't know enough about the spirits native to this part of the world. There are otherworld creatures who don't have parents in the way wizards do. They're just called into being one day. But from what Grabiner told me, the Dansons should know all the local bloodlines. If they think he's unusual, he probably is. I think one of his parents was a witch or a wizard who was lured into the otherworld by a demon and then murdered. There's a story like that in this book, about portals and fairy rings. If the spiral gate is open from the otherworld's side and a witch passes through, she can be trapped. Maybe he had something like that in mind for me. He joked about it the first time we met. He said I could lose my mind here or worse. He even said not everyone is what they seem to be. She's thoroughly dedicating herself to the idea that Damien is not just troublesome but outright evil. Maybe that's a natural development from her feelings last night, but I'm not sure it's correct. Or a wise idea to pursue. If she tries to figure out every possible way things could go wrong, she really will lose her mind. How long has she been here researching this? Has she eaten? Has she slept? And what would she think if she knew that it was me, not Damien, who tricked her? I could be brutally honest with her. Is now the time to do this, though? She obviously has conflicting emotions about Damien. That much is for certain. And right now, she's definitely in a. If you were to imagine like their relationship plotted on a graph, and the graph was like a sine wave, which I think is completely accurate to describe this relationship here. She would definitely be in a trench right now. She'd definitely be on one of the lower curves of the sine wave here right now. How would I prevent the future upward curves and future downward curves? Let's see how she feels when I say I need to confess. She's already angry, and this isn't going to make her any less angry. Is there music? Ooh, yeah, that is depressing music. But it's the honourable thing to do. Look, Ellen, there's some things you should know. Like what? Well, you know Virginia's brother William was my senior, right? What about him? He and Damien have had a bad history. Well, not just them. Damien's got a reputation for playing with people's hearts. I know, Virginia told me. Every time she saw me talking to him, she told me. Right. Well, William was worried about Damien leading you astray or something, and he didn't think lecturing you would help. Because I'm too pig-headed. Because Damien's really good at mind games. Or at least that's what William thought anyway. And that's why he asked me to interfere. Huh? I didn't do much, I promise. It's just that Damien really did try to leave you a gift after the Apple Festival. And I stole it. What? If the only reason you're so angry at Damien is that he lied about that, then... I can't believe you! You're worse than Damien. You made me think you were nice. It was wrong. I'm sorry. And you think I'm going to forgive you just like that? No, but I needed to say it, what I did. The truth. You deserved it. You'd better not expect me to thank you. I shrug. I don't expect anything. You're not just saying that to make me feel sorry for you? Her suspicious glower almost makes me laugh, but I managed to hold it in. She'd really hate me if she thought I was making fun of her now. What do you do is up to you. She'll probably be mad for a while and then get over it when she realizes I didn't do her any harm. After all, even if he's not a total monster, Damien was clearly no good for her. For now, I'll leave her to her books. I best get back to the gym. I did promise Minnie I would finish the cleaning. When I finally return to the gym, it's empty. Empty of people and also trash. Even the brush pan and... I did it again. Even the brush and pan have disappeared. What do I normally call it? I just call it a brush pan. Yeah, I guess that's a slang term here in Britain. I never knew that. The brush pan. And for some reason I am inclined to say brush pan and broom. I don't know why. Or brush pan and mop. I think that's a bit better. I can't remember what the correct idiom is over here. But anyway, I clearly don't do enough housework. Or at least I don't refer to these things enough for me to remember what they're called. Anyway, I hope Minnie didn't sneak back in here while my back was turned. I guess I'll have to keep a closer eye on her from now on. So look, we managed to get both of them done. That was, you see, this is why it's a good idea to sometimes go back. Because sometimes you might just miss out on material. The Midnight's poets are meeting tonight. Let's go study. Minnie Cochran is assisting students in the library. Study with Minnie, does this do anything? No, not quite. Or maybe afterwards? Raven is in the library. Okay, look for poems. Unfortunately, the Iris Academy Library does not hold a wide-ranging collection. There are books on poetry on the shelves, exactly 3 of them. 1 Oxford British anthology, 1 American, and 1 collection of love poems. The table of contents lists 800 poems in the British book alone, so club members do have options to choose from. Still, it is limiting. They will all have read these before, no surprises. It's too late to try and find a poem from any other source, though. Ask Miss Darden for help. She is a librarian after all. Maybe she keeps restricted poetry books behind the counter or knows where to find some. Maybe she's a poet herself. Excuse me, Miss Darden? What can I help for you, sugar? Do you know where I can find some poetry? Something out of the ordinary. There isn't much on the shelf. Are you looking for pretty words or powerful ones? I don't know. I just want something interesting to recite. Ah. She reaches into the pocket of one of her robes and draws out a small book, only half as long as my hand. The title read, Poem of Life and Death. You just copy something out of that and bring it back to me, do you hear? You'll find what you need. It would be poor manners to refuse. I wonder if these are her favourite poems. It's still only 1 book, and if she offers this to everyone who asks, they might be even more familiar than the ones on the shelf. On the other hand, maybe this just happened to be the book she was reading today, and that's why she had it with her. In any case, I pick a poem and jot it down. As I work, I occasionally glance up and look around the room. Minnie's still helping other students, of course, and there's a lot of quiet chatter. Raven's in the library. She walks along the shelves, her head twitching back and forth as she scans the title of books and looks increasingly disappointed. I wonder if she's looking for poetry too. She seems like the type to enjoy our secret society. Maybe Tyrannus invited her. Well, if so, I suppose I'll see her later tonight. Alright, poetry club time! We gather in the greenhouse for a meeting of the Midnight Poets. Raven does not appear. I suppose she's not joining after all. Corina starts off with a poem about autumn. Season of mist and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun. A few other related pieces follow. I suppose the Dark Dance has made everyone aware of the changing seasons. One sophomore reads out a Halloween poem of ghouls and goblins with a rhythm so strong that hands start tapping to the beat as he goes. William takes things in a more personal direction. We make ourselves a place apart, behind lights words that tease and flout. But oh, the agitated heart till someone finds us really out. And then it's my turn. I pick up the poem I copied down from Miss Darden's book. Life like a marble block is given to all, a blank, inchoate mass of years and days, whence one with ardent chisel swift essays some shape of strength or symmetry to call, one shatters it in bits to mend a wall. The poem continues as some uses of their gift in different ways. Is this a continuation of the poem, or is he paraphrasing? I'll pretend it's a part of the poem. The poem continues, as some use their gift in different ways, but the least are those so lost in the dreams of building a grand life that they do nothing until their days run out. I don't know yet where my life should go, but I'll try things out until I find out. Several listeners nod. Next comes Tyrannus' turn, and he reads what I recognize as an angry bit of Shakespeare. At last we toast to our cultural success with a tiny paper cup of spiced apple juice, and then turn in for the night. Ah, very good. The cafeteria's dessert today is dark brown spiced bread. The taste reminds me a bit of medenka, but more moist and without the chocolate. I think they call it gingerbread. As I eat my meal, I hear raised voices near me. Well, only one voice is raised, the other remains silent. Just worried about you, don't you see? What happened at the Dark Dance could have been very dangerous at a gathering outside the school. If you'd talked to me beforehand, I could have answered your questions. If you'd talked to me before you went up on the roof, I could have fetched Potsdam faster. Please let me help you. I'm always available as class president. Barbara glares at her. She picks up the knife from her cafeteria tray. Slowly, deliberately, she points the tip in Minnie's direction. All right, I'll go. She walks away, and Barbara goes back to eating her meal. She appears to pay no attention to anyone else around her. And everyone else around her tries very hard to look like they're not paying attention to her. At the end of the week, we are preparing things. Okay, let's do this. What are we preparing? Monday, we're doing classes. We have 20... Okay, we have 0 stress right now. 47, 48, 49, 50, 26, 27. We should get some red magic, right? I feel like I want red magic. Exercising success. Charles! Minnie runs up to me in the hall. There you are! Here I am. I hope the weekend's rest did her some good. She looks a lot more energetic at least. I just talked to Jacob about the preparations for the next fundraiser and what items we're selling for our class. She and Jacob were making arrangements without me again. Shouldn't I have been part of the preparations? Why? We're both president, not just you. But it was the treasurer's decisions. That's his job. He told me about it afterwards, so I'm telling you. Oh, I need to stop jumping to conclusions. Yep, you're right. Yeah, we're going back. This is how it works. If I don't like how an outcome happened, I'm just gonna go back. Let her talk. She's here now, that's the important part. We're having a big green pillar candles. We're having big green pillar candles. They go on the sale at mall on the 23rd. We all have to help man the booth, but we don't have the exact times for that yet. There'll be a meeting later to decide the schedules. I just wanted to let you know, in case you were making plans for your weekends. Oh, thanks. Okay, bye. And off she goes. Exercising, success. Exercising, success. Red magic class, success. Alright, we get a new spell. We get push. Luke asks, hey, can I borrow $20? What for? Well, you're not using it. You never go to the mall anyway, so you don't need an allowance, right? Maybe I'm just using it to bribe the teachers. Really? You ninny, of course not. Right, so you don't need the money, right? You still haven't said what you need the money for. I just want to go shopping and have some fun. You know, more than $5 of fun. Because you spend your allowance every week. I can pay you back after Thanksgiving break. I can get more money from my parents when I go home. Not sure that's allowed. How are they gonna catch me? Strip search? Magic. Ugh. Don't worry. I'm sure Grabs doesn't want to see your alien boxes. It's not that. It's just stupid there's no way to, work and get extra money while we're here. It's a dumb rule. Sorry. You work? Sometimes, back home. Just part-time. Selling tickets or putting things on shelves, you know? Sorry, I've never had a job. Too bad. Perhaps in sympathy for my perceived poverty, he does not ask if he can borrow from me. Red magic class is a success. Footsteps in the hall signal the usual Saturday morning distributions. But nothing for me. Stepping outside, I see Virginia talking to her brother. I know I have to ask them, but I wanted to be sure it was okay with you first. I don't see any problem with it. But she's not my classmate. Have you talked to Donald? Ugh, do I have to? It's his house too, V. Fine. She bangs on Donald and Luke's door. Hey, nerd bruh, get out here. What do you want, urchin? I gotta get ready to go to... Is it okay with you if Ellen spends Thanksgiving break at our house? Your roommate? Ugh, why? Because her stupid parents should send her a letter saying they're not going to bother picking her up, so she's stuck here. Oh. Do, most students go home for Thanksgiving then? Well, yeah. It's such a big family holiday. That's when everyone sees their cousins eat macaroni until they burst. You tell 'em, I got detention. There's not much to tell. It's not like it's a big mystery. Turkey pie, relatives, tradition. People go home from all over the country, which means more major traffic jams than for the normals. Ellen says her mom says it's too much trouble to travel all that way back for less than a week's break. But I say that's BS, because you know it's not like Thanksgiving is a surprise, you know? Well, it is to me. Oh. No one told me I had to go home before the summer break. For the semester break, do I need to write my parents? No, there's always a few good people who stay over. Mostly wildsies who don't want to go back to being non-magical. I just don't want my roomie to feel like nobody wants her, you know? I assume she'll leave it at that. But then, if you need somewhere to go, we have a big house. I can ask my folks about you too. No, I'll be fine, but thank you. Yeah, we can't go because then we risk being recognized. But it was kind of her to offer, especially since we're not really friends. I got a motor. I promised Helen we'd hang out. See ya. So what should I do today? Definitely study. Minnie Cochran is assisting the students in the school library. Study with Minnie. Black magic increased 2 4. And we're at the end of the week again. We are only 23 minutes in, so we will just click done here and we'll carry on. The first thing Monday morning, someone knocks on my door. Oh, it's just Minnie. Hi, can you do a seal spell? A what? Never mind, I'll ask someone else. While I blink in confusion, she knocks on Donald and Luke's door and repeats the question. Sure, probably. Great, stick this flyer to the wall, please. She hands him a sheet of paper. Oh, and Charles? We got student council meeting after class today. So I'll see you then, right? Okay, bye. She hurried away. What was that? Student council business, I guess. What's on the paper? We looked at it together. It's an announcement of a special assembly for freshmen on Thursday. All the normal classes will be suspended that day. How come we all have to go? Is it another ritual? I don't know any more than you do. He shifts his shoulders, helpless, and then starts attempting to attach the paper to a wall. What should I do this week? Well, we do have high stress. I'll rest, and then I'll 6, 7, 8. If we get 2 2s in blue magic, we could get it. Then I want to do some strong, because I want to see if there are any gym events, to be honest with you. This afternoon, the student council has a meeting, though slightly smaller than the last one. Good afternoon, pilgrims. The Thanksgiving break ends on Wednesday the 27th.
On that date, we will collect and formally present this year's tributes. When witches and wizards from Europe first crossed the Atlantic, we came as guests seeking freedom, and we were greeted with hospitality.
To hear my parents tell it, they mostly arrived as runaway apprentices who wished to become their own masters. The social structures of magical Europe derived from a time from when there were only a few dozen magic users of any age to be found within a single country. Fewer than there are students at Iris Academy right now. No schools, no towns, no brotherhoods. Only wizards in towers defending their own territories. Apprentices, when found, were often feared and controlled more than they were taught. When the population began to rise, there was no place in society for the new upstarts. So many chose to take their chances in the New World.
We do not forget the gifts that we were given. We do not forget our responsibility to care for those who have cared for us. Even when too many in the world outside have forgotten their obligations.
I wonder if this lecture is meant for me specifically to hear. A reminder of the virtues of American wizardry?
As such, it is our joyful duty to gather willingly, given contributions from outsiders, to help redress the balance. The tribute will be collected through ticket sales for the full play next Friday, and candle sales at the mall that Saturday. All student council members are expected to assist with the collection of tributes for the tribal councils. Angelo, will you come up and select a slot?
The booth needs to be staffed all day long, and assistants are needed to run the front of house for the play, so there aren't many jobs available. However, being freshmen, Minnie and I are called up as the last to choose, which means we are stuck with the late evening mall duties that no one else wanted. On top of that, Potsdam explains that anyone working at the mall should first take the van out in the morning to help set up the booth for the first shoppers, so we'll have to stay there all day long. That's just how it goes, I suppose. For the seniors to get the privilege of the best choices, someone else has to have the worst. It's not so bad though. How hard could it be to sell candles? Alright, so we're selling candles at the mall, and it's going to be a whole day event for us. Unfortunately, we didn't get to from Blue Magic. Charles? I turned around and surprised to see Ellen. I don't think she has ever sought me out before. You're not going home for Thanksgiving, are you? No. Because it's too far, right? You don't live near here. It's too far to go home for half a week. Yeah, that's right. It's too much trouble. Why do you ask? Why are you asking about my Thanksgiving? Well, I don't know. Came over here looking for me and you don't know why? Well, I know you live far away, so I thought you'd say... Okay, yep. That's right. Nope. I don't know what... Let's do why do you ask. Let's play this through to the end. I thought you'd say that of course you couldn't go because it wouldn't make sense. And that it was fine with you because it was just a reasonable thing to do. I wait. And it didn't mean that your family didn't want you. Ah. I'm sure that... No, you're not. You're not sure of anything. You don't know my family. Sorry. Virginia won't let it go. She keeps saying I must be so sad, and if I'm not sad, then I must hate my parents, and... It's not like that. Not really. I'm not sure I understand, but if Virginia is bothering you, you don't have to go and stay with the Dansons. Spending half time at a boarding school is not so bad. It can be a time for adventure. No, I'd rather be there with her family than here all alone. That'd be too sad, don't you think? Well, I'll be here after all. You are staying? Of course. It's way too far to go home for such a short break, it wouldn't make sense. She stares at me. Then a sequence of giggles escapes her. Right. She goes on her way, but hopefully she feels a bit better than now. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's hope my indecisiveness doesn't get worse as we go further on. On Thursday morning, all the freshmen are gathered together in the gym.
Good morning, my bright young things. Today we are going to have a very special lesson, which should be fun for all of you. You're going to get some practice on what you've learned and try out some spells on each other without the pressure of a test. In future exams, you may come across spellcasters who attempt to block your progress. You need to know how to use magic in combat and how to avoid magic being used on you. Now, you have all been studying different areas of magic. Some of you have chosen to specialize and will have access to higher level spells. Others have been pursuing all disciplines equally and have a broad range of knowledge, but may lack dual specific skills. And that's why I want you all to team up in your groups. You and your partner can share your different strengths. Will everyone please pair up in twos?
The crowd springs into motion, each going her own way. I hesitate and unsure who to choose. I expected people to have picked their roommates, but I see that Luke and Logan have immediately paired up, while Donald snagged Ellen and Virginia goes for a butterfly whose name I can't remember. I wander around looking for someone who isn't attached yet and end up standing by Barbara Solmoro.
Please pay attention before we begin. When you're ready, you and your partner will face up against another pair. The two teams will take turns casting spells and blocking them. This is not a battle, and you are not trying to defeat each other or injure each other. Think of it like a game of catch. One team pitches, the other team catches. The pitchers will cast two minor aggressive spells, one after the other, while the catcher tries to stop them. Without attacking them, you will get your turn to be the aggressors. In each round, only one member of each team should cast a spell, while the others observe the effects. Also, try to avoid interfering with any other pairs. That includes casting spells that tend to be large and messy. No fireballs or ice storms, please. Target only the active caster for the opposing team. Professor Van Brun and I will be on hand to deal with any injuries and accidents.
The tall woman waves at the crowd from her position near the stage. And break a leg, and not literally.
If you are injured, please call for help and one of us will be right there. Now take a moment to discuss strategy with your partners and then we'll begin the rotations. Have fun.
This sounds likely to get pretty chaotic. I turn to face my partner. So, she points at me, flicks her fingernail audibly across her thumb, then spreads her hands raising her elbows. I think she's asking, elbows? Yes. Your elbows are your bro, remember that. I think she's asking if I can cast something. I don't understand. That's not helpful. I'm not too sure exactly what spell she had in mind, but I think we'd best go over what spells we each other know. She nods slightly but doesn't say anything else. Well, I'll start then. I give her a quick rundown of the spells I know how to cast, even the ones that don't seem relevant to a duel. Then I wait. Push, slow, blind. At least she said something. Alright, when it's our turn to defend, I'll cast Teleport Other. She looks dubious. Blind. She looks dubious. Slow. Dubious. Darkness. Dubious. Silence. Dubious. Light. Dubious. Push. Dubious. What did she say? She said push, slow, and blind. So you can cast push. So what happens if we do push, slow, and blind? I'm gonna see what happens. Alright. I focus my attention on Luke and chime sounds. Barbara's spells go off and Luke at the same time. His leaves a black mark on his cape while hers shoves him backwards, knocking him into his brother. The second chime sounds, but Luke hasn't managed to get back into position yet, so he fails to cast his second spell. That wasn't a defense spell! Well, it did stop you from casting, sort of. At least it's my team's turn to go on the attack. Barbara takes up position opposite Logan. She gets quite a wicked grin and she manages to zap him in the ribs. After we finish our set against the twins, we rotate to a new set of opponents and try out some different spells and techniques. We're having fairly good time until all of a sudden, a shadow sweeps over the gym. Darkness gathers in the rafters, forming a monstrous shape. Eyes of an unearthly azure, hanging tendrils that writhe and reach, and a maud lined with needles. For a moment I am frozen in place, my mind frantically rifling through years of magical lore in quest of a category for this apparition, some clue how to placate it. Barbara has no such hesitation. As the rest of us blink and stare and scream at the beast above, she instantly snaps off a bolt of red magic which shoots directly towards the grotesque head, and passes harmlessly through, scorching the ceiling tiles beyond. The monster, the illusion, ripples and folds in upon itself, disappearing. With the whole room filled with novice spellcasters, it might be difficult to determine who is responsible, except that Donald cracks up laughing.
Donald?
Yes, ma'am?
While your Tetranarch was very impressive, I do believe you were told to cast spells only at your opponent.
Technically, I didn't cast it at anybody.
Openly flouting the rules is a bad example for the other students, don't you think? As for you, Barbara, violent reflexes are not a virtue. I'm certain you meant well, but in the end your spell caused more damage than Donald's.
I suppose someone will have to clean the scorch marks off the ceiling, but that must be a fairly common occurrence in a magical school. We'll stay quiet. I'm sorry, Barbara. We're going to stay quiet. Professor Potsdam is only stating facts. There's no need for me to get involved.
You do mean well, and there is no punishment, but do try to consider the consequences of your actions in the future. Perhaps you should have been in Horsehole after all. As for you, Donald, I'm sure you know that there will be a detention for this.
Oh, of course.
Try to be good now. Jacob, put Mr. Arias down.
She hurries off to deal with a different situation, and there are no more situations for the rest of the session. First things first, on Friday, someone knocked on my door.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We need to prepare a message to be sent around to the freshman class. I just found out that the next exam is scheduled for Wednesday next week, not Friday because of the play that night. There would be an official announcement on Monday, but with a test in the middle of the week, that's very short notice. If we tell everyone tomorrow, then they'll have the weekend to prepare.
Sure, that makes sense.
It also gives us a chance to remind everyone about Medea, the fall play, so that they can save their allowance to buy tickets.
Oh, how much did that cost?
$5 for students.
Because of the deal I made during the election, I don't have any money, but Minnie doesn't know that. Is there any other way to get a ticket? My allowance is already taken.
Oh, if you'd said so on Monday, you could have signed up to work and get in that way. If you asked Professor Potsdam, she might still let you volunteer.
Thanks. I'll talk to her about it later.
Anyway, I wanted to know if you have any messages you want to add to the note before we send it to the class.
Oh, maybe something about your Thanksgiving holiday, to make sure everyone knows where it is and has their plans?
Sure, that's a good idea. I'll write...
Excuse me.
I'll write out the announcement and make copies to give to Jacob so he can distribute them with the mail tomorrow. Okay, bye.
She hurries off. Exciting success. The morning there's mail this for me. Not a letter in an envelope, but a folded over sheet of paper with a silver star sticker attached for attention. It's Minnie's announcement as promised. Exam on the 20th, full play on the 22nd, and Thanksgiving break on the 26th. Well, what should I do today? I think we should end the episode here. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And honestly, I feel like we're not getting very far with Minnie. I'm not sure. I feel like we're getting further with Ellen right now. But, I suppose... Yeah, I suppose when it comes to the Christmas break, we'll truly find out, right? What is the month right now? Menu? Diary. It's November. We're in November, so we've got one more month before we do the whole, think about someone, and if they're thinking about you, there'll be a connection thing. Because in the first game, that was I believe it was a firm requirement to get onto someone's route. But anyway, thanks for watching everyone. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Take care.